Greetings from Florida.
Woo!
Welcome to Love in the Time of Hydra, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 10th anniversary podcast. On this day, 10 years ago, April 29th, 2014, a lot was going on in the world. You guessed it, Happy by Pharrell was the number one song still. The number one movie at the box office domestically was The Other Woman, which I did not know. That's like a dumb movie about three women who meet who are all with the same guy and then they get revenge on him. But Nick Cassavetes directed that movie, which is really weird. The great Bob Hoskins passed away on this day 10 years ago. I know. An eclipse happened that was dubbed the Penguin Eclipse because the best view was in Antarctica.
Cute.
And yeah, this was a huge day for birthdays. 10 years ago today, Willie Nelson turned 81, Uma Thurman turned 44, Catherine Langford turned 18, Jerry Seinfeld turned 60, may have been 61. I may have messed that one up. No, I think it was 60.
That's correct. That's correct.
That's 60, yeah. Michelle Pfeiffer turned 56, Daniel Day-Lewis turned 57, and Xochitl Gomez turned, wait for it, 8. So
yeah.
Happy birthday to all of those wonderful people. But the most important thing that happened on this day 10 years ago was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s 20th episode, Nothing Personal, aired on ABC, regular time, 8/7 Central. I'm Jamie Jirak, and I'm here with my co-host, boyfriend, and level 1 Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, Tony Paletto. Hey, Tony.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us from abroad. We're in Florida. This is a very special Floridian episode, and thanks for watching and listening along.
Yeah, we are both at my mom's house. So welcome to Sarasota. And you guys, I'm so excited about our guest today. It's the first time we have ever had 2 guests. It might be chaos. Who knows? Can't wait to find out. It's we're all learning. It's going to be great. We are joined today by 2 of the biggest Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans I know, my wonderful friends, Sarie Moscato and Jackie Rogers.
Woo!
Yeah.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to level 7.
Yeah, that counts. Technically, Tony's level 1, but we're all level 7.
Is that the highest?
I think we learned that 10 is the highest because Fury is 10.
I think we're 10.
Yep, great.
Personally,
Sarie decided. I love that. People in the comments are going nuts because everyone in the fandom knows Sarie and Jackie because they're always around doing stuff. We're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to talk a lot about our fandom connections. But first, as you know, we like to ask what you were doing 10 years ago today. Jackie, do you remember what you were doing?
I actually have been thinking about this for a while because I know it's a question you guys ask. But I think I was actually keeping the fact that I got into film grad school away from my dad. So that's
And was that news taken well when it was finally broken?
It did. I actually got him drunk and told him and laid out the entire plan of everything that I was going to do. So
amazing. I love that.
Good.
Sarie, do you know what you were doing 10 years ago?
yeah. I mean, I was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, actually, it's a whole thing because, so when the pilot aired, I, really wanted to watch this pilot with my roommate / cousin because she loved Coulson. And so I was the one making tacos for Taco Tuesday, and we were kind of watching that in the background. And then the pilot was cool, but, up until the Hydra reveal, I focused more on the tacos than the show. And then the Hydra reveal happened. And I was like, I can't make tacos anymore during S.H.I.E.L.D. I have to watch S.H.I.E.L.D. So I was at this moment, I was absolutely 100% focused on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in my Kent State apartment.
Now I kind of want Sarie to make us tacos though. I want to taste the Sarie taco. More than me. So I want to shout out everyone in the chat. We've got a pop-in chat today. Sarie and Jackie, I'm sure you'll be looking at the chat. A lot of our guests completely ignore the chat, but I know that these are your folks. So, but no pressure. You could ignore them too. Tony, you want to remind the chat of the rules?
Yeah, guys, that just means please tag spoiler alert if you're going to talk about anything that happens after this episode. So that's to protect people like me who are enjoying the show for the first time. If you spoil something without saying spoiler alert, Maria, our producer, will violently stab you wherever you were sitting.
I don't know how that became a thing, how we turned Maria violent.
It'll continue to evolve. We'll go to caning and, it'll continue to be a development, I think.
Wow. Great.
It doesn't help that you said it.
Maria,
But
what
it
do you
doesn't
say?
help that in my pastime, in my free time, I do make weapons.
It's true. It's she's always doing some cool shit.
Yeah, I didn't make this shit up, guys. Our producer will stab you.
Alice in the comments says, I love the violent energy. Me too. All right, Jackie and Sarie, we got to talk a little bit about your history. We know that how Sarie started. It started as a Taco Tuesday watch. We'll talk a little more. We'll expand on that further. But Jackie, were you in it from the beginning too?
A little bit beforehand. This is going to sound really weird. I was also working in retail, and unironically, I was working at the Disney store in my local mall. And we always get like promotional materials. And I remember we actually got promotional materials for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before the show premiered. They also like sent the trailer to us like early. And we had a fake tattoo. We had like a whole rundown of who's who in the cast hanging backstage. And I feel like that's kind of how I got into the show. So
that's fun. I like that. So okay, so for me, I didn't really get involved with the fandom until season 5, because that's when I like wrote that BuzzFeed article. That's when I moderated the panel. And what's crazy is when I did the 100th episode panel, you were both there in the audience, but we did not know each other yet. And then we became Twitter friends, as one does. And then Sarie, like later that year, I think the following year maybe, tweeted that she needed some place to stay for New York Comic Con. And I was like, you can stay with me. And that's how we became friends. I was like, just invited the stranger into my home. Jackie, I can't remember when we first, like, I know that we would talk a lot about like Broadway stuff, but I don't remember like our first real life meeting.
I don't either. Was it sushi in West Hollywood?
Was that it? So you met Tony that day too?
Yeah, like from inside my car, I was like, "Hi."
Yeah. I think that's what it was, because I can't think of anything else.
I mean, I had just started dating Tony too, and I was like, I just started to see this guy, and he's really cute, and he's picking me up. And look at us now. What was Sarie, I'll start with you, like the first like big like con or thing that you did with like cosplay, you do all that stuff. What was the beginning for you? When did you start doing that stuff?
I got really into like fan fiction the year after, like once season 1 ended, the whole summer was just fan fiction, fan viding. I did a big season 1 overview video, which is still probably one of my best edited pieces when I look back on it. Like, yeah, I guess. And so that kind of got me into the fandom. And season 2 is when I started like cosplaying and putting stuff on Twitter and live tweeting. So that's really when I got into the fandom. But what's funny about the hotel thing, or the meeting up with you for NYCC thing, is that so I met Jackie for the first time the night of S.H.I.E.L.D. 100. Like we just said hi. That was our first face-to-face meeting. And
Wow.
I think it was the following summer, the first time I actually hung out with Jackie in person was, hey, we both need a place to stay for San Diego Comic-Con, and we roomed together. And that's the same thing. So you guys just like, I just pick up people on Twitter and room with them like a crazy person. But Shield friends hit different, I think.
It's true. And Sarie and I have since we shared a room for a Star Wars celebration too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was a good time. That was really fun. Jackie, what was your kind of intro to fandoming for this?
For S.H.I.E.L.D.? I don't know. I was trying to think about that. Like, I remember one of the first events that I went to for S.H.I.E.L.D., like fan events, was Paley Fest in New York in 2014. And I was in grad school, and a friend of mine from the Disney store came and met me in New York. And we went to that together, and it was lovely.
Is that the one you showed me? Like, there's a clip of you giving Chloe a gift?
Yeah, yes. There are a few clips of me talking to Chloe on the internet. Yes, I gave her a gift, and then also I asked her a question, like her and Clark a question during that. Yeah.
I was just about to bring up Sarie's tattoo, but then I realized it's a spoiler, so we'll have to talk about that when Tony leaves the room. Amazing. I'm genuinely like so happy to be. You're the first people I've ever made friends with, like in a fandom, like on the internet, like meeting up with people, and I think that it's just like there's something special about it. And for our audience, Jackie and Sarie were over Tony and I's place for New Year's Eve. We had a New Year's Eve party, and we were all just like sitting on the guest bed, looking at my posters and talking about it. And Sarie was like, "Can we do nothing personal?" And I said, "Absolutely. I'm writing it down." And so here we are, all these months later. Nothing personal. Which
long anticipated.
Yes, and that is going to segue into me talking about the little synopsis, which is the episode was written by Paul Spacheski, who previously did Fizzed, The Magical Place, and End of the Beginning, and he co-wrote this one with DJ Doyle, and this was Doyle's first episode of the series, and he worked on the entire series, all 7 seasons, and the episode was directed by Billy Gerhardt, who previously did Repairs. So we got our main cast. We got a lot of familiar faces. BJ Britt, J. August Richards, Adrian Pasdar, and of course, Colby's mother is back here. Wow, I lost my ability.
What the hell?
I don't know what happened. But in this episode, the team learns the truth about Ward, and Maria Hill comes back into the fold. But will she help Coulson? Okay, so Sarie, we're like initial thoughts. I want to start with you because I know this is like your favorite episode of the season, and you chose it. So tell me why this is your favorite episode, and what your thoughts are.
Well, when I chose it, and like always, what's in my mind when I think about it being my favorite episode is that I just love Skye so much, and this is what really cemented that was her just kind of like. Not number one, the way she lied, the way she goes through the whole thing and just gets through it without like the ending cherry on top is that she says Hail Hydra to Ward, and that's how she reveals that she knew what was up for quite a while. And I just was like, okay, I'm in love. But then rewatching the episode for this podcast, I'm like, damn, this episode has Maria Hill, General Talbot, like Deathlock, and then it just moves, and it also has the iconic Lola scene. Like I was like, no freaking wonder this is my favorite episode. Like I was just watching it with my dad, and I'm like, by the way, they filmed this in 8 days. Like, just so you know,
Yeah.
do you know what network TV is? Because he has so many episodes during the season. I'm like, yep. They don't make it like this anymore.
Network.
Sure don't. Jackie, what are your feelings on this? Is it also your favorite of the season?
Of the season? Oh, I don't know. It's definitely up there. I think the season finale and then was a big one for me. And then also I feel like you can't go wrong with like the Hydra reveal too and the connection with the soldier. So I don't know. My first one sort of when I've watched this like a bunch of times leading up to today, and the first time I rewatched it was with Sarie. The first words out of my mouth were R.I.P. Maria Hill.
It is true. Yeah. Oh, well, Sarie and Jackie, because we had the 3 of us have a little text chain, and they were like, "Has Tony watched Secret Invasion?" Because obviously we had to bring up the fact that Maria Hill has been unceremoniously killed off.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's not nice.
It's a bummer. When I first watched it, I was like, okay, but the more I think about it, the more I'm actually mad about it.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of unceremonious death in that fucking show. We're here to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
When it comes to Marvel shows about spy agencies, Secret Invasion is not the superior show. We'll say that.
No, it's not. And I can say that as a level 1 agent.
Yeah, you have the authority. Okay, Tony, what are your thoughts and feelings?
So I'm actually struggling to rank these now. I'm nothing personal is kind of in the middle. It is in the middle for me in terms of my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ranking. I moved some things around. I'm struggling in the middle. The middle's a hard place for it. But so right now it's at number 10 out of 20. So season 1, episode 16, End of the Beginning is at number 9, and The Hub is at number 11. So it's in between those two. But again, like I don't feel 100% about it. Like I think at the end of this season, I'm going to really finesse this ranking and kind of give it a final stamp of approval. But don't let it being in the middle make you think I didn't like it, because I dug this episode very much.
I mean, there are 22 episodes. So you got to rank them somehow.
Totally. Yeah.
Rankings are hard. I love this episode. Shocking, I know. It's for me, the reason why I love this episode is I love the Ward is Hydra. The Fitz and the way that whole scene is edited, where Gemma finds Eric's body at the same time that Fitz sees that scratch a thing. And
Mhm.
I just love that reveal. Like, even though we know, watching them discover it, and like Fitz is just my boy, and whenever Fitz is struggling mentally, it's just it's just so sad, but I also love pain, and my boy is just really struggling in this episode.
He is. His little freak out is heartbreaking.
Mm.
Poor Fitz.
Well, Tony, you're in for a ride. That's all. I'm
I love, like, they were gonna go get pancakes. Like, I love that Gemma's like, you know what's gonna solve everything for the Hydra, like this whole Hydra debacle? Pancakes. I'll cheer everyone up. And then it just got so much worse.
with Agents of Shield, though.
Say it again.
Diners are a thing with Agents of Shield.
True. Isn't it
true.
true that the diner from that's going to be in the next season or would just close down?
Or it's either today or tomorrow's the like last day.
That's really sad.
With Jen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've gone.
I bet Tony knows this diner too, having lived in LA for so long, but I don't remember the name of it, so we'll have to. If someone in the, what is it?
It's Dinah's, right?
Dinah's.
Yeah, family restaurant.
You don't know that?
Haven't been there. Well, and now I guess I won't. Tragically.
You have 2 days.
I'm in Florida.
Yeah, we're in Florida. It looks very similar to the Pulp Fiction diner, but it's not the Pulp Fiction diner. But like it's very similar, and like when you see it, there's kind of a little nod, I would argue, but that's way ahead. We're not talking about that diner. We're talking about this diner from this episode. Let's just dive into it. So I have to be honest, my notes today are a little hectic because we're in Florida because my best friend got married and I officiated the wedding. And it was beautiful and it was amazing. Sarie has met my best friend Thayer.
And that's who got
married?
married?
Yeah, Thayer got married.
Oh my
yeah, I'll send the love. And so we've just been, we literally went to bed at 5 a.m. last night. So, we're just struggling a little, but it's all good. It's all fun. And because there's 4 of us, I'm sure there'll be some accidental over talking. Don't worry about it. I'll try to direct us as best as possible. But, again, this is fun. I like the 4. My other podcast, there's 4 of us. So, I'm used to this. But all right. So we kick off the episode with Maria Hill. She's back. This whole opening is great. We find out she's on the phone with Pepper, which is so cute. She's being followed. There's all these agents that like suck because they're not as good as her agents. And I forgot that there's a Man Thing reference. I totally forgot that. And now, like, I wasn't really know about Man Thing when this came out, but like now because of Werewolf by Night, like I love Man Thing. There's like so much going on in the scene. May shows up. We know Maria Hill's working for Stark because of the end of Winter Soldier, all this business. So I guess like we'll just dive in talking about this Maria Hill entrance. And Tony, I'll let you kind of kick off the thoughts.
Great. I love the spies who are not as good as super spy Maria Hill. Her just kind of rolling her eyes at them. But then they kind of twist it where she's like, oh, wait, all of these spies just fell over. What's going on? And the May reveal to me was great. We knew that May was looking for Maria Hill, but the thing that I really appreciated was we find out that May is there because Coulson needs help. So it's, again, she's still being the best friend you could ask for. She left in kind of this, sad situation. She abandoned the team, and now I like that she's still. She hasn't given up. She's still trying to help. Wonderful. And I really like what's going on with Maria Hill in this one. And we'll talk more about her arc in this episode. But I like her I appreciate this sort of resignedness that she has of just, this is all kind of futile, like they don't have any more bases. The shield has been scattered to the wind. And she's literally just trying to protect herself. And do what's best for her and to continue to operate in a way that can be positive. And that's, in this case, going to work for Stark. So she's in a really interesting position. I like that that she kind of needs a wake up call of like that she's sort of walking away from her duty, and that, I just really like what's going on with her in this episode. I think it's a really cool layer.
Sarie, talk to me about this opening. Thoughts, feelings, opinions.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that for her to come back, like you basically wrapped up at least just the opening part. For Maria, it's just like it's a good way for her to come back. I think that they got her back as a guest role, and they actually gave her something to work with, and it added an interesting layer to the character.
Jackie?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Kobe was actually one of my favorites in the Marvel Universe before Shield was created. So seeing her again was always great. Like, and just, Tony, how you were saying that she's spotting all those agents, but then like May besting them is just, it's so much fun. And the phone, I always just love the fact that she was on the phone with Pepper and like that connected universe, even though we never see it, it was still really nice.
We had a hashtag. It's all connected.
A hashtag,
right.
like I know. My God. And some people just are really still holding strong to it. They just can't let it go. And that's okay. My thing about I just love May in this. I love their dynamic, everything. I love that May is looking for those answers, and I love when Maria says Fury's dead, and May's like, I'll believe it when I see it. And then how the agents show up in like 3 minutes, and Maria's like, if you were my agents, you wouldn't be for long. Like, bitch, that's Fury's right hand woman. She knows what's up. But so okay, yeah, a great opening, such a solid opening. Exactly what you want for this late in a series like this. It's pretty amazing. But so then we go back to Providence, and Coulson and everybody are just trying to figure out what happened. Like it's a whole mystery. May left, and then Ward and Skye left. What's going on? And then this is funny to me when Trip like says something nasty about May, and Coulson just like snaps back out of it, and he immediately defends her. And then he was like, "I was mean to her." Like he finally, she's gone, and now he realized he pushed her away. And then as brought up earlier, Gemma's like, we'll make pancakes. And that is when the shit goes down. Fitz sees the screen thing. Gemma sees the blood. Ward is Hydra. They figured it out. And Coulson's like, we've had a wolf in the herd the whole time. And then, poor Fitz, my fucking heart. And then Gemma has to diagnose the murder, and she she's struggling, but she's doing it because her job. And she says Ward did this, and it's fucked up. Anyone talk feelings? What do you love about this, Sarie?
I'm raising my hand.
It looked like you raised your hand.
I did. I was like, I have feelings. Well, what was interesting about that was like Fitz was like, it wasn't Ward. Like you said, Fitz is really going through it this episode, and he specifically says, Gemma, tell him. And Gemma has to be like the responsible adult in the situation and be like, Fitz, let me work. And she's still going through it as well, but she has to be like, I'm the one that has to look at this. And that's when she like very coldly says it was a 6 foot whatever man. Yeah, Ward did this. And Fitz just kind of like crumbles because like he was really holding on to that hope, and he was like, Gemma, back me up here. And she just had to like shut him down. It was so rough.
Yeah. She's got work, and I love Coulson all the time. He's always acing it for the most part. I just like that he's like, this is the next step, and then there will be another step. Like he's just being cold precision about it because that is what they need to do.
I like one of my favorite things in this episode was the message in the bathroom and Fitz being the one to, see that. And just like how Skye throughout the entire episode was always one step ahead of Ward, and it was so good.
Yeah, I do really love the reveal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I do love that because we see her panicking in the bathroom, then we see her kind of get her shit together, and then the next time we see her in the previous episode, it's like her being like, "Hey, what's up, Ward? What are you doing?" So I like that we got to reveal that she was up to some business off screen. Because she's smart and she's cool. I don't know, Sarie and Jackie, like I know you've been listening to this. I hope you understand how hard I've come around on Skye. Because I was not into this character at the beginning. I thought she was irritating and I didn't really like her. But she is one of my favorite characters. Easy. She's crushing. Love her.
You had the same journey as me. I like in the
Good.
pilot, I was like, okay, she's fine. Like, because she was kind of like we were seeing the world through her eyes, so I was really judging her kind of more than like anybody else, just because it felt like she was kind of almost she was like your entry into this superhero world, whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then like starting in episode 2, I'm like, you're so annoying. And then
Yeah.
around when she got shot, I was like, what a great way to shake things up. If they just kill this girl, she's not interesting. I would love for her to just die. And then like that would be such a great like turn for the season. And then instead they had a different turn, which was great. And then they made her awesome. So all things worked out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
she's been
indeed.
awesome. Like she's cool, but not to me.
The opposite. The moment she stepped out with the cell phone in the pilot, I was like, oh, okay. I know what you're about. Like you're like all automatically my favorite character, and like the ride that she's even on just season 1 is just absolutely like fantastic. And I think Chloe plays it so well. Like
Yeah, man,
If
absolutely.
anyone's listening later and not watching live, both Jackie and Sarie have #1 Skystan as their name on our so I guess they gotta like duke it out.
Yep.
Next time you come on, we'll have like Sky trivia and we'll ask
Ah!
questions. I should have thought of that. That would have been fun.
Oh,
Next time.
That would be
Season
so
2.
fun, actually.
Season 2, we're gonna have
Bonus
Sarie
ep.
and Jackie battle for Sky trivia. Then Talbot shows up to Providence with special forces. This scene's fun. I love when Coulson's like, if I come out, will you shoot me? Because then I won't come out. I think that's really cute. And but then we find out that Miera brought Talbot there, which is like such a betrayal. How dare she? And Maria's basically offering Coulson a lifeline, and Coulson's pissed because he feels betrayed, and like she's still keeping secrets, but she's also like, we're done. And when she's like, grow up, Phil, of course you're a liability. Like, it's just really bleak to watch these two going at it. But I also love that, like, that she's pissed when she finds out about Ward because she vetted him and she just doesn't feel right about it. And this whole scene, like, then we get like, but then she changes her mind and she's like, they start beating them up. There's like some Coulson versus Talbot. And then literally when Miera started helping Coulson in this scene, Tony goes, yay!
Yeah, I did. I needed that relief because I felt the relief when Talbot comes in. Excuse me. When Talbot comes in, I was like, "Oh boy, here we go." Because, like, you know, I've been warned about this guy a little bit by previous guests on the show, but then the fact that Miera was there, I was like, "Oh, that's a weight off." The help's arrived. And then you're like, "No, not really. No, she's kind of like trying to convince them to take the easy out on this one." So I like that it didn't take long to turn Miera around, and for them to fight Talbot together. By the way, completely random, but looking at Talbot, I'm like, you remind me of somebody. And I asked Miera if you could show Miera. Can you drop the photos in here? Dude looks like Tony Curtis. Like I think Adrian Pasdar has strong resemblance to Tony Curtis. I finally figured it out. So yeah, it's been bugging me. Honestly, this is like if Tony Curtis, if I picked like an older photo when he was like more middle aged, is a little closer to resemblance. But anyway, I was like, I've been looking at his face. Like, who are you?
He's Jamie Lee Curtis's father. He's a famous older actor.
Oh,
yeah. Great.
Okay.
Some real classics. Some Like It Hot, right?
Yeah.
Real good
Spartacus.
stuff. Yeah. Jackie, thoughts and feelings on this whole scene?
I just like the Miera Coulson exchange, and the moment Miera shifts is when Coulson's like, Sky's in trouble, and Maria's like, well, fuck, we gotta go save her, right? Like,
yes.
I don't know, it's just so good. So yeah.
Sarie, did you weigh in on this? Like, I'm like, I already forget who talked.
I like that she's just been so practical, and I feel like everything has been so like a natural progression through her brain. Like she was like, I'm being practical, but then it all came full circle because she did vet Ward and we saw that. Like it's not like we didn't see that and she's like, oh, I was the one that vetted Ward. We like, this is payoff for the first episode when we saw her vet Ward, and she's like, well shit, yeah, now I gotta get involved. And so I just think it was a great full circle moment.
Absolutely.
The poop with the knives.
Yes.
And
Classic.
then of course Sky and Ward. This diner scene is so tense because it's Sky has the upper hand, but it's like it's shady. It really is like intense, and she kind of like she starts asking about Garrett. I don't know how he did it. And then I love the way she does that. Would you say he's disgusting? Because like
Yes.
the way she says it to him, that she's like he's realizing that she knows. And I really love that. And then I love that she's stalling and she calls the cops, but unfortunately the cops are fucking dumb and they don't catch him. And then Deathlock comes and like, oh, that's the end of that plan. Whoops, maybe I shouldn't have revealed myself so soon.
It's really a great scene because she is just stalling for time. Like all she can do is stall for time until she decides, okay, I have to change my tactic here. But I do love that she, in the revealing to the police that this is a wanted fugitive sitting across from her, she takes the opportunity to burn that motherfucker to the ground as eloquently as she can, and then she gets to do more of that later. Just eviscerating Ward, which made my heart so happy because I can't stand this butthole, and I'm so glad to see him getting taken down peg after peg after peg. Oh, I'm going to talk more about it later, but that's how I feel.
I was going to say I have a question for you later, Tony.
Okay, great.
Q&A time. Sarah, you were going to say something, I think.
As I was watching it, I was thinking, yeah, it does suck that the cops sucked. And she probably kind of figured that because Ward is like a very impressive spy and like at tactical. But
Yeah.
what was her other play? Like she had completely stalled as much as she possibly could have. So this was really the only thing to do because otherwise he just would have found her out. And then I assume if he really likes her, taking her to Hydra or whatever, but it's not good for her. So this was really her only play, even if it was like a shoddy one.
That is good to bring me into the next thing where they get her on the bus there, Deathlock's back and stuff. And I really love this scene where it wasn't personal. Can't believe you just said that. But like when he's like he's like, what? I'm not a Nazi. How like he and when she's like, you might just believe that and stuff. And I wrote in my notes, blame Ward baby is what I wrote.
Yeah. Well, the line that I wrote down was, do you think this has been easy for me? Fuck you so much. Like he is just the wormiest little entitled brat. And I just like that was the worst thing he could have said at that time. And I do love that. And it kills me that Sky doesn't let him die, but also I love her for it, because she's a human being, unlike that guy. So it's a great scene.
So did you think that Ward was going to die?
Oh, it's so funny because for those who don't know, the only spoiler I've had to experience on this show regarding this show came directly from the mouth of Agent Ward saying, I died 3 times on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm like, what the fuck? So, but weirdly enough, there's been so many instances where he's been like, I don't know, shot, made to have a heart attack or whatever. And I'm just like, it never occurs to me that it might be the first death to happen. I never remember it. So I did not think that he was going to die. I could tell that Sky wasn't going to let it happen. So it never had me convinced.
Chloe plays that really well. Like that whole, and the way that's written too is just like, I feel like in that instance, Ward might have actually let Sky die, but like you can see Sky's humanity in her and how that also shifted from where she started to her being on the team or whatever. And I think she did that moment for herself more so than her doing it for Ward.
Yeah. It is. She should be proud of that decision she made. It's it's going to continue to be a problem, but she should be proud. That was the right thing. Yeah.
You don't know that, Tony. You might really all
okay.
I wrote
Next
in my
episode,
notes,
everything's going to come around.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, Chloe crushing, because she really is she's so good in these last couple episodes. And I also wrote Sky, that was so dumb, with like 15 Bs. Because like you're right, like it is for her humanity, it is the right thing to do, but it's like, bitch, just let the motherfucker
Yeah.
die. Like, and I also, another thing I love about this scene is when she realizes that he actually has feelings for her, and she's like, I'm gonna throw up. Like, that's how we all feel. Like, I'll be using that because like, and that's the thing about Ward. He's fucking delusional. He's delusional, Jackie. I know you got thoughts.
Yeah, and it's again like my love for Ward left when he killed Hand or whatever, so I was rooting against him ever since then. And like, I can curse, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fucked up what he says to her in those moments, because he thinks anything with Skye that he's had is genuine, and it's not. It's all been fabricated after her, Skye learning that he was Hydra and stuff, and her just trying to stay alive and get back to the team. He's just genuinely fucked up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think genuinely fucked up is a great place to take our quick 30-second break. Go refill your drinks, go to the bathroom, you know the business, and we will be right back to talk more about nothing personal. Welcome back to Love in the Time of Hydra. We are here with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. mega fans Sarie and Jackie talking about nothing personal. Let's move on to Ward and Miera have this little chat which is all for stalling, so Coulson can get on the bus, which I love.
Yes.
And this whole back and forth between them is really great. It's really quippy. It's nasty when Ward says to Miera that Fury only picked her as her right hand because he goes, he needed eye candy around. He could have at least picked Romanoff. Tony got pissed. Tony was offended when he said that. So Tony, I need to know like what was going through your mind more than like you were like ready to throw down when he said that.
I would have boarded that plane solo and kicked that guy's ass. Yeah, no, it was. Honestly, I couldn't remember it because I wrote it down in my notes. But then we actually, because we were traveling, we had to watch this episode a few days earlier than we typically do, leading up to the recording of the pod. So I was like, "What was that?" So thank you so much for reminding me. Honestly, I don't need to say anything else. I have said enough disparaging things about Agent Ward. I've got nothing more to add. He's a fuckboy. I don't like him. I want him off the bus. I want him all the bad things that happen to him. I know this show. I know what's going to happen. They're going to devise some way for him to redeem himself, and he's going to spend a whole season regaining trust or something. This is just I don't usually have theories, but this is just my current projection. And I'm going to eventually be like, all right, well, you made everything right. But at this moment in time, written off, what a gross thing to say. What a repulsive thing to say. I'm so mad.
Nasty.
I loved what like that whole exchange, and then Ward mentions Widow, like mentions Natasha, and then Miera says, "That's funny, I'll tell her you said that," is literally like one of my favorite lines. I feel like throughout the entire series. I was like, when Sarie and I were watching it, I was like, "Hey Sarie, guess what my favorite moment in this episode is?" And she's guessing all these Skye scenes, and no, it was that whole entire exchange on the bus. It's so good.
It is good.
But Skye has so many bangers this episode. Like, I can quote that entire Ward and Skye plane scene, like, exactly. It's so good. And then, as I said, the Hail Hydra. But yeah, this was a very good scene too, but it was more enraging to me, like you said, Tony, than Maria's follow-up was just like, yeah, no, I'll tell her you said that. It was a good follow-up, but man, I was
It is a good follow-up.
focused on it.
Because
Thank you,
like
Jackie, for reminding me of the clever follow-up, because I
Yeah.
was so blind with rage that I didn't really pick up on it. Yeah.
it's also like it's such like he's like it's a sexist thing to say, obviously, but what I love that it doesn't phase Maria, because Maria knows she's fucking good, and she
Yeah.
knows that her and Nat are better than Ward. Like she like fine, you can say that all you want. That's just your fucking. That's like men on Twitter who get on Twitter and say bullshit, and you're like you're just
Agent
insecure.
Ward is men on Twitter. That's my T-shirt.
Yes.
I was about to say printed on a t-shirt.
Yes.
Yes.
Once we get we need to get some merch, I swear. So Coulson gets on the bus, and what's really funny is Coulson or Tony goes out loud, he goes, I hope Coulson doesn't have to get in a fight with Deathlock. And right as he said that, Skye was like, how'd you get past Deathlock?
And I love Coulson's like, oh shit. You did not know that was gonna happen. That was terrific. New plan, run.
And then
Lola.
the iconic Sarie, just describe the Lola scene so that I don't have to, because I've been talking so much.
Well, what they have to run and hop off the plane, and Skye's like, I'm gonna use this parachute, and Cole's like, forget that, get in the car. And so they hop into Lola, who's just sitting in the back of the plane, and he says, put on your seatbelt, but Skye does not put on her seatbelt. And
No.
then we have one of the best scenes in all of the season, I personally think, and it ends in the best line where they land in front of LA Live with Skye's hair like freaking messed up, and they say $20 for parking, and Coulson reaches for his wallet because he's going to pay for
Yes.
the LA Live parking.
Yes, he is. Oh, I love it.
It's so funny. It's like we everyone loves to see Lola. Like Lola's like the special guest star every time Lola appears, and it's sad that Lola took quite a beating here. But Tony,
Yeah.
when the hair happened, Tony had a good laugh at that.
I did like the hair. Coulson too, because Coulson doesn't have nearly as much hair as Skye, but what little hair he had was very much askew. It was great.
Ooh, and then we have Maria and Coulson, another little scene between them, and it's she's kind of laying down these harsh truths, like we're not bringing the band back together again. Like this is not officially sanctioned. This is a personal vendetta. You should, and then she's like, Stark would take you, and all that stuff, and it sucks because we also know from having seen Age of Ultron, like Maria is still working for Fury. We know that. And and for her to like tell Coulson to quit is like hypocritical. And but she's also not wrong, because it's tough. Humans are complicated, guys.
It's dynamic. I love it. Yeah.
Any thoughts anybody have on this?
I just love the moment where Coulson goes, what does he say? He says like, oh, Stark, but I'm dead or whatever. Makes the comment.
Tell Stark I said hi. Oh, never mind. He thinks I'm dead.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm curious what, like, so we're not getting a band back together, and it like cuts to a scene of Fitzsimmons with their feet in the pool, and like Coulson just looking at them longingly, like, but I want the band to stay together. And obviously there's some sort of band for 7 seasons, so I'm really curious. Like, I want to go back to this moment in time and think, what was I expecting to go on like with this show? Because it's just such a crazy implosion that it does feel like Maria Hill's like, wrap it up, and obviously like the show isn't doing that.
Yeah, that's a great Tony. Like,
right. Yeah. No, you're obviously, I have the advantage of knowing I'm doing a podcast for 7 years. So I know that this isn't the end of this show or the end of these characters' lives, but I can't imagine how, under what circumstances, under what authority they're going to continue to operate. I don't know what it's going to be. It's really exciting. This has been a really exciting show to watch, especially, obviously the big Hydra reveal, which because I'm an idiot, I didn't see coming, even though I've watched Winter Soldier like 40 times. So I was like, oh. And so like having that, having just like setting up like, okay, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is a show about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We blew up S.H.I.E.L.D. There is no more S.H.I.E.L.D. Just puts me in a really excited place of, this is clearly a show that's going to has built enough rich characters and built a rich world that it doesn't really matter what you call it. They are going to continue to operate. They have a lot of room to go and a lot of room to grow. So I'm excited to see how they do it.
I'm excited for you to see it too. I think we all are. Everyone's just like, Sarie and Jackie have both like texted me things that you've said that like I need to start like a document of like the right and wrong things Tony has said and whether and how it's like he's gonna feel so stupid.
I'm sure I will.
But Sarie mentioned the motel scene, which I really love. I love the Fitzsimmons moment where he just like has to ask her if she's Hydra, and it's very sweet, but it's also very sad. But like the idea that these two have each other's backs, and it's all like it's just they're doing their best. I really like that Sky and Trip have a little moment here because we haven't seen them interact a lot, and I really like they're just. I like Sky and Trip as a duo because they're both like cool. They're like cool people. Like I want to invite them to my party. Like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and then the whole thing is like we'll get them like that's it. They fucking want Ward.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do I.
I do want to ask because Sarie, I know that you're not big into shipping. You're not like a big shipper person. And Jackie, you're more into shipping from Jackie. At this point in time, when you were watching season 1, we've got Fitzsimmons, we've got Sky Simmons, we've got Simmons Trip, we've got now this scene with Sky and Trip, and like May and Coulson have had their things. Do you remember at this point if you were you shipping anybody at this point?
I think I was still very upset about the whole Sky Ward thing because I think I might have still been hoping in some fucked up way that Ward would have been by this point an undercover agent, like a third agent or whatever. But I feel like I'm trying to think with Fitzsimmons, like I don't think it's until a little later where it really cemented me, but I think I started feeling those shipping moments with them. And I loved the moment with Fitz and Gemma because it's just so honest and he needs like that reassurance. And question for the group, did we kind of figure or Tony, did you think that Gemma at all could have been Hydra? Because there was talks that she was originally supposed to be Hydra and they switched it, or not that they switched it to Ward, but they were back and forth between the two, whether it was going to be Gemma or Ward at one point.
When they were writing the show, like developing it and stuff, it never occurred to me that Gemma would be Hydra. What are you giggling about, Jamie? What happened?
My mom just came out here and didn't have any pants on and started dancing. So sorry.
Oh, well, that's it, guys. Welcome to Florida, everybody. I don't know what to tell you.
I had something to say and it's like gone.
I'm sorry. She wants you to know it's a bathing suit. It's a bathing suit.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
No, it was perfect the first time. The image was great.
Oh my God, just sabotaging the pod. No, to answer your question, Jackie, I never at any point would have thought Gemma would have been Hydra. But I'm sure if they had gone that route, they would have done a very carefully constructed it, and I would have been very surprised. But I'm glad she's not, because I love her.
I thought she was because I've told this story before, but there's an episode in season 2 that I watched before I caught up on season 1 when I was behind that I kind of misremembered. And I don't even remember what it was, but for some reason it had me thinking that she was. And so I watched the rest of season 1 actually very much thinking that she was Hydra.
Oh no.
And then season 2 started and I was like, "Oh, I misremembered something or whatever."
Yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense knowing season 2. Like But I never thought Gemma was. I'm very easily gullible. Like what you tell me is what I'm gonna think until it happens. And like Ward was Hydra, and I already thought that was like a masterpiece that no other show had done. Like taking a character you learned like you knew for 15 episodes and changing them into a completely other person, except kind of an Angel, like you knew Fred. Anyways, but drink.
Drink!
Drink.
But I was gonna say, as far as shipping people, I don't ship people, but Trip has Riz, and he could be shipped
Yeah.
to anyone. I
Trip,
would
like,
ship
honestly,
him with Fitz,
yeah.
Gemma, like literally anyone. And I'm not a shipper, but he just with myself, that's fine. But anyone, honestly,
Yeah. I don't
Same.
think
I
anyone
agree
would
with
turn
you.
away Trip.
Yeah.
right?
He is
Like I
like,
just think,
like I'm old and I only just learned what Riz meant, but and now that I know, he definitely has it. He
Right?
has it
Got
for
Riz.
sure. Yes.
Yeah.
And okay, so we've got the end tag. May is back. You know, she early in this episode, she dug up Coulson's grave. She's searching for the truth. I love that scene where she's digging up the grave. And he says, "I was hoping you'd come back." The reconciliation. We love it. Something you see. Who's behind Tahiti? Jackie, tell us.
Coulson!
I gotta know Tony's thoughts on this.
I was kind of confused about it. I mean, but in the correct way, because like I love Coulson. The very end thing, he goes, "Huh," like just the most mild reaction to this devastating thing. It's interesting that it was Coulson behind it. It makes total sense, and it's somewhat tragic, knowing that he was giving his resignation from the project to Fury. Because he did not approve of it because of the volatility of the process and how it seems sort of unmitigated and unmanageable. The side effects, the memory loss, I think, was something he mentioned. So now this thing that, because like when I remember when Coulson was panicking about giving I forget the name of the serum, the blue stuff, giving it to Sky. No. He was panicking. He was like, "Don't give it to her," because he's just learned it. But my thing is like, my argument at that time was like, well, dude, why? I understand it's scary, it's alien, and you don't know enough about it. But also, like, you know that this is what's coursing through you, and you're walking around, you're lucid, you've had numerous physicals, like, you're fine. So, and then later, that was also Sky's argument to him after she recovered, of being like, "It's fine, I'm fine, you're fine." So now we have this information that maybe neither of them are fine. And that sucks, because I was feeling really good about everybody being okay from that stuff. So I'm stressed out again.
It's like, knowing this, it's like, wow, Fury, that was fucked up. Like, I'm glad you did it because I want Coulson alive, but like for Coulson to say, "Don't do this," and then to do it to him is some nasty business.
It's also really tragically beautiful, because I think there's the line where they talk about how they were going to use it on an Avenger, but like that also just says that Coulson is an Avenger, and I think it also just says how important Clark Gregg is to the larger MCU and what he means. So I kind of weirdly like also love that, and I don't think I'm the only one, because I know that there's like a lot of Coulson fans out there too, because Coulson's just so important and integral to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, that's so true.
I love that he was important enough.
Yeah,
that means a lot to me, because I love that character.
Before we move on, go ahead.
I still think that it's the right call, because like clearly the symptoms haven't started yet. You can always kill them later. Put them out of misery. Like, might as well just try. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
It's like in movies where like they're like, if you reanimate this person, they're going to be a zombie, and they're like, "No, let's just see what happens," and then they turn into a zombie. And then,
kind of go bad, but might as well try.
So that's the episode. Before we get into like history stuff, is there anything else about this episode that we haven't talked about that you guys wanted to bring up?
No,
I
feel it's expressed. Yeah.
Jackie?
I'm glad you brought up the May stuff, because the May digging Coulson's grave and no one being in that grave was just one of the best comedic moments, like in the scene, because she gets out of the grave and sees the people in the cemetery. It was just really fucking funny.
I misremembered, and I thought she was digging in Fury's grave to see if Fury was really dead. I thought that's what she was
did
doing.
too. That was my first thought. And I was like, are they going to show me the Pulp Fiction headstone again? Yeah. It's good.
But no. So the filming occurred from March 6th to March 17th, real quick. And then
Wow.
so I sent Maria the poster for this one to put up. The poster for this one is weird. Maria, do you have so
No,
Scott,
I disapprove.
Sky looks really cool, but Ward looks like he's in some kind of like weird expressionist painting. Like he's like a different art style than her, and it's kind of bizarre. Like I like each section of it, but put together, it's kind of weird.
Well, say nothing of the fact that it looks like she's consoling him. That's my problem with it.
Yeah.
Jackie, Sarie, have you seen this one before?
Yeah, I have. This was not.
Yeah.
I have one of the posters, but this was not. When I was looking at all of them, this was not one of them that I wanted. I was like, I do not like this.
It's like it's funny because like I'm a #1 Sky stan and I don't want that, and she's like the prominent figure on it, so you can tell it's like kind of mid.
For me, it was just that she's like touching Ward, and I'm like, please don't. No.
Exactly. It's like he's like, I'm so sad, and she's like, it's gonna be okay. I'm like, what did this? This is not emblematic of the episode.
No, agreed.
Basically, like if I saw this, I would be like, okay, like this is Sky being the savior of Ward, and that is not the point of this episode, like at all. Like technically she is, but like we said, it was more for herself. So it's just like this isn't it.
I like
this isn't it.
And I like the hidden shield logo or whatever, and how it's sort of dripping blood. But like, the Ward and Sky of it all can go.
Boy, that last episode was perfect, and this is just the opposite of perfect.
Jackie, you have the Providence one?
Show me.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
that's a good one.
I really think I got this one because it has Ruth on it. It has like all of my favorite. Providence is actually one of my favorite episodes, but like I love it.
That's a good one.
It's
I like
really good.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I really want to get the Only Light in the Darkness print. I want that so bad now because that's so beautiful. All right, so there wasn't a lot of fun facts about this episode, and so I just wanted, like, Jackie and Sarie, do you know anything like about this one that I maybe don't know? Because I couldn't. There wasn't a lot on the old wiki. Great. We're running a little late, but we have to have a good deep Tony Leaves the Room. I've been going long lately. Sorry, Maria. But Tony, before you go, you wanted to say our goodbyes and all?
Yeah, absolutely. So say a few thank yous. First to Stephanie at Eclectic Muses on social. She did our artwork. Thank you, Ryan Miera at Yellow Pills Music on Instagram for doing our music. Thank you for our producer, Maria. Thank you, Maria.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Sarie and Jackie. I'm so glad we finally got you on. It was such a pleasure.
Yeah, it hits different when we've got experts on the show. Like it is fun. It's fun too when people are like, I watched this once 10 years ago and I don't remember anything. Or when Jake came on and he's never watched the show at all. Like, it's fun to mix it up. But I also liked having two people on, and I knew like we could have had you on separately, but it's just more fun if we're all together.
Oh, 100%.
Yes. And for everyone listening, don't forget to follow us on social media at LitoPod. Subscribe, leave us those reviews, subscribe on YouTube. The more that we listen, the more listeners we get, and then the better our numbers look, the more guests we get, so keep that in mind. Spread the word so we can have cool guests. Next week, we're talking ragtag we're not sure who the guest is yet. I met someone with a cool connection to the show recently, so I'm hoping to get him on, but fingers crossed, we'll see. But if you are watching along with Tony and you do not want spoilers, head on out. Tony, go hang out with my mom. Don't worry, she's in her bathing suit. She's not naked.
Great. All right, cool. All right, I'm leaving the room. Pleasure having you. Bye. Leaving the room. Leaving the room.
A nice background. My mom has nice taste. My mom's stuff is really nice. So one thing I want to bring up, it's so funny because I understand why Tony thinks that Ward's going to get redeemed, and I don't count the framework. I don't think that really counts. It's like an alternate version of him, because like I would think that too. The moment where Sky says, "I'm never going to give you what you want," the first time I watched that, I was like, oh, they're gonna get together eventually. It's like the Spike and Buffy thing, like you know. And it always, I say it all the time, it surprises me that Ward never got the redemption, and I'm not mad about it. It's different. It's like its own thing. But my mom is like the #1 Ward stan. My mom loves
Really?
Brett Dalton. She just thinks he's hot, like, you know,
Oh,
like
fair.
she. Yeah,
Fair.
like she was
Fair.
just, because my mom loves this show, and she was just talking about, like, when I did the 100, that Brett Dalton made her a little video, and she like loves him. So
Yeah, I mean, he's great as he does the whole thing great.
Yeah.
But but what I was gonna say was, what I couldn't say before was the reason this episode was so good to me was because I thought, I'm so glad Sky isn't just giving him what he wants and he's not redeemed yet. Like, I know it's gonna happen. Like, there was no doubt in my mind that season 2 was gonna be a full-on redemption arc with him, and it started that way. And I, for the first half of the season, also thought that. But the fact that they never gave it to us makes me so happy, because again, it's something that I feel like TV doesn't do. They don't usually give you 15 episodes of one character and then change them. And if they do kind of change them, they're going to eventually revert them. Like, it's never actually a full change. So the fact that they committed makes me so happy. And as a not shipper, I'm sure, like, as a person who doesn't really get invested in ships, like, I'll be like, yeah, they're fine, whatever. It just doesn't really click to me. So maybe that's easier for me to be like, yay, he wasn't redeemed. But I am very happy about that. I just wish he would have gone full villain at some point in the show. Like, I feel like we never got all that, but we'll save that for like season 3.
Can I piggyback off of what Sarie said?
yeah.
Okay, so also, like, you were talking about Ward, but also I feel like network TV, Shield could have easily made, you know, Sky this, you know, Mary Sue, like, play into all of, I know, play, like, make her weak, right? And she never wants. Wait, can I refer to her as her actual name?
Yeah, I wanted like I was like, so Sarie has a Daisy, Chloe. Well, Sarie, you tell them about your tattoo and
this tattoo was made by Chloe. The end. Drawn by Chloe Bennett. It's a Daisy. Let me go back to what Jackie was saying.
Sorry. They could have easily made Sky/Daisy at that point really weak and play into, and I feel like you've seen that on network TV shows in the 90s and even earlier or whatever, and they never fucking did. She's this fucking powerhouse and becomes, and like, look at who she literally becomes from now to where she ends up. So
she's like
the boyfriend.
Yeah, Jackie's shirt. That's a series finale shirt, which is funny because like Tony doesn't fucking know. Because I have the same shirt and you know, just doesn't know what it means. Are there any other things, any other spoiler things, like anything that Tony said that, like, I know when he was talking about like the Ward redemption, we were all like,
yeah, sure. I was like, I'm there with you, bud. I thought that too. Like, it was 100% in my head gonna happen. So like, relatable.
He was so far gone for me that I feel like when I was still working at the Disney store, I was talking to one of my good friends who also was a really big Shield fan, and she'd be like, we would always be like, do you think Ward's gonna get redeemed? And I was like, he better fucking not. Like, I can't do this. And like, even with the framework, like, not my favorite part of Shield. It's
literally my favorite part. It's my #1 favorite.
It's like Jackie's least favorite thing ever. I don't understand. I understand.
Oh, we're gonna have to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. But like, I just so scared that they were going to redeem him, because I think I did really like the fact that like Sarie said, that they never did, and they could have. And it's just, but seeing him as a full-blown villain would have been a little bit nice before he became Hydra, quite literally.
I want to bring, like, we're so far away from this, but the chat is fighting about Lincoln, and I just want to know that I fucking hate Lincoln, so I need to know how you guys feel, because I hate Lincoln.
What?
No, I mean, fucking fair. He's so like,
he's so white bread.
Oh no, but okay, so Agent Ward, not Hydra, was such white bread, actually. That's like literally what I think of. Lincoln's just like the vanilla of it all. Like, I don't know. He was just brought in to be Sky's love interest. You could tell he was the pretty boy just there to be Sky's love interest. And I was like, I don't really like you. But in season 3, he kind of grew on me, and then they took him away from me right as I was like, you know what, you're growing on me. You're fun. You're Pikachu. I really liked Luke. So it like all built up, and then
Luke's great.
Killed him.
Luke is great.
I loved Lincoln. Like, there was something about his character, and I also was such a huge like Inhuman Daisy's the reason why I really got into the Inhumans, let's be real. But like I went and did that whole deep dive, and seeing his arc on Shield just fucking blew my mind, and I loved their love so much, and he had I think one of the most heartbreaking moments in Agents of Shield.
It's a good death. It really is a good death, but it's just, but I just like, but also Jackie, you're like the number one Ducey stan too. So like,
yeah, can't go there. Sorry.
You're like a goody two shoes man person, right? Like I want to say that like the sweeter a man is, like the more you seem to like them. So I feel like this tracks.
It does.
And Lincoln was literally brought on as like the sweet man to be Sky's love interest. So I feel like he's just a good guy. Like he's just doing his best. So I feel like that makes sense. But no offense, but Anver is way better.
Oh yeah, no, he's my favorite.
He's amazing.
Yeah,
like I think it's still like the fact that they pulled him from Agent Carter and put him to. I mean, you both know this. I've said this multiple times to you guys, but the fact that this show brought my favorite character from Carter to my other favorite Marvel show just still blows my mind, and I will never
put him with like
it's my favorite character of all time. Like
when I interviewed Jedmo and I told him, I was like, that was such a high risk, high reward thing to do. Like it makes me so, it's one of my favorite in that change. I didn't really like that Peggy and Cap ended up together in Endgame until Ducey, because then I'm like, okay, I'm happy with it now. I don't care. I know, Jackie, we're not even gonna get into that because I know how Jackie feels about that. Now the chat's arguing about Deke, but I think you both know Deke's my favorite character of the show, so we know where I stand
like
there.
Deke, sorry.
Yeah, he's my favorite character.
On him, like there's some stuff that I just was not liking that they were doing with him and Daisy. And this was like,
I like where it went to. I like that he had a crush and he was a dumb fuck.
I will
and that
say
she never reciprocated. Like that's how it worked. Like he sold her into slavery to make them a thing would have been kind of problematic. But I do think it's cute that because he did have such a comedic presence, they were like, let's lean into that. But they never gave him Daisy's reciprocation. So it all like worked out to me.
I think that was always my favorite, not my favorite, but always what I was afraid of is that like the show is going to do something like that, because I've seen it so much happen so much on other network TV shows where like, and I should have believed Shield more in that way. Like I should have believed what they were telling me that they wouldn't, because they had done that for all 7 seasons. And it's just like, I don't know if I can sometimes trust network TV enough.
You can't.
No,
Yeah.
But they never did that. Anyways, sorry.
No, it's great. I feel like when we get to that season, like I want a lemon tattoo, but I should save it for when Tony gets there. So like in 5 years, I'll get a lemon tattoo. You
have to give him a lemon and show him your love, and then you can get the tattoo.
That'd be cute.
Throughout the 5 years.
Anything else that you guys want to say before we wrap up? And any thoughts, feelings? Great. This has been so much fun. Like, just like we could geek out about this all day. Like this is, I mean, this could have been a 5-hour episode. So we'll definitely get you guys back in season 2. You can once again tell me what episodes you want to do. Maybe let Jackie field this one since it's serious.
I think we agree.
Oh, okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Off camera. Do you guys, do either of you have anything you want to plug, like your social medias or anything like that? Working on YouTube, anything?
I'm mainly active on my Instagram, which is Seriously Magical, and Sarie is a weird name, so it's Sarie and then magical, like Seriously Magical. You'll find it. I
also tagged her in on our Instagram, so you can find her.
I'll try to do some Shield throwbacks this week, so that way.
Yeah, I'll share them. Tag us and we'll put them in our stories.
All right.
Jackie, anything?
If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram with Jackie with 4 E's and then 24, or Jacqueline JACOIN Rogers ROGERS on Twitter. There's really nothing that I want to plug because the show that I was working on unfortunately got canceled. So
boo. Who do we hate? Is it NBC?
Yeah, it's NBC.
Fuck you, NBC. You
Yeah.
got my girl out of a job.
I know, seriously.
The
And a good
network TV
show.
game.
And,
Yeah,
and
people like that show. Yeah.
so another show that's really good with time travel. So,
Yeah, watch it and make them regret it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for everyone who's listening. The chat was so heated today. You guys were great. I love it. We'll be back next week with episode 21, Ragtag, which has my favorite visual gag in the entire series. I'm so excited for Tony to see the filing happening. It's my favorite gag. And just May and Coulson in that all that, it's just so fucking funny, and I'm sure Tony's gonna love it. That live shows on May 5th. The episode will officially drop on May 6th, and then we have the fucking series finale. I can't believe we're already done with season 1. These 7 years are gonna go by so fast. Check us out. You know the drill. Share the thing. Thank you guys. Thank you, Maria. We only went 10 minutes late today. Not too bad. Have a great rest of your night, everybody.